I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm the head coach for Job Search CoachingHQ.com. Excuse the delay in starting. It just seemed as though the system hung there and it didn't notify me that it was recording. So this is Job Search Radio. I like to spend a certain amount of time most mornings talking with you about some element of job search. I'm often answering questions. If you have one, email a concise question to me at jobsearchradio@gmail.com. I won't promise I'll get to all the questions I receive, but I'll get to a lot of them. Okay. And the question I received today is, how do recruiters and HR managers search LinkedIn for candidates? Do they use hashtags, keywords, current title? How do they search? And I'll tell you how I did and how I know most recruiters do. And I don't know what you think HR managers do. They're corporate recruiters who are searching LinkedIn. And HR managers so far up the food chain, there are people reporting to them who do recruiting, but that's a digression. Let me talk with you about how you search LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a variety of different search tools that are sold to recruiters. The best one, the most expensive one, is called LinkedIn Recruiter. Basically, LinkedIn Recruiter lets you search by almost any criteria. But think about it for a second. If you're trying to fill a job in, I don't know, San Francisco, trying to fill a job in New York or Chicago or Miami or Dallas, how would you try and find someone to fill that job? Well, one criteria is location, right? You try to find someone within the specific geographic area that the job resides in. Why? Because firms that are local will not be looking for someone to relocate. Usually, 95 times out of 100. There are exceptions, but most of the time they want someone local. And even if they're open to relocation, their preference is someone local. So location is criteria number one. Criteria number two is skill set. What skills does this person have that the firm needs to fill this job? Hence, keywords. They're searching by keywords because LinkedIn is an enormous database. It's a database of individuals who are subscribers or users or members, and it's all searchable. So you want to get to keywords to identify people within that geographic area who have the specific skills. You then look by numbers of years of experience or title. So, for example, there's a difference between a software developer and a VP, right? So, obviously, you're looking for someone at the right level, and thus, a recruiter would search by a specific term that LinkedIn uses to identify individuals with that background. So, for example, vice president. And you have to understand there's a data dictionary that exists within LinkedIn that correlates with your title as you filled it out on your profile and LinkedIn Recruiter. So it starts offering choices to the search. Compensation generally isn't a part of the equation. That's why it's always covered in the first conversation to ensure they're not wasting your time, their time, or their client's time. But think in terms of keywords, location, title, not necessarily salary. It could be numbers of years. Depending upon the profession, it may be degree or degree from what school, because in certain fields, the school that you've attended is important. For example, a friend of mine who did recruiting in Chicago was generally looking for quants out of particular universities because that's who his clients want to hire. They didn't want to talk to the ones from the non-core schools. And that's the way he thought of it. There were core schools that they wanted to see people from. Other than that, they didn't want to talk to anyone. From there are little nuances, but those are the basics of what a recruiter would look for, whether it was a corporate recruiter or an agency recruiter, in trying to find people on LinkedIn. And what they're also then doing is perhaps a quick scan of job history to get a sense of how long they work with that skill, because LinkedIn isn't going to tell them that. They might want to get an idea of a number of different things. There's a lot of secondary stuff, but the basics of how they would look is to narrow down the scope of what someone's done. And then they might go and peruse the profiles to reach out to them and see whether it was actually suitable, because not all the search results are perfect. They might just say, screw it, let's send an in-mail to everyone, and they bulk in-mail people in order to actually connect with them. There are lots of different ways that the follow-up would occur, but normally the search would consist of what I talked about. Now, I want to add one extra criteria, and it could be industry. So, for example, if you work in consulting, for example, I'm not talking about, as an independent consultant, but the major consulting firms like to hire people from other large consulting firms. Banks like to hire people from other banks. Insurance firms, you get the idea. So you might want to narrow it down by industry, or you might want to narrow it down further by a specific line of business that the individual has worked in order to come up with a long list of individuals who you might then narrow down with a quick visual scan of the profile to say, he's only mentioned that thing one time 4 years ago. I'm not so sure I want to contact this person. And then look for the ones who have the most recent experience. So I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give Job Search Radio 5 stars on iTunes or Stitcher, a thumbs up on YouTube if that's where you're watching it. I also want to encourage you, if you're interested in my coaching you or having me answer your questions about job search, personal questions, the ones that you want to tell me a lengthy story about versus a quick, concise question like this one. If you want me to answer a lengthy question, reach out to me through my website, TheBigGameHunter.us. And what I want you to do there is go to the tabs on the top, select the service that you want me to help you with, whether that's helping you throughout your entire job search, answering your questions, critiquing your resume and LinkedIn profile. I don't work for free any more than you do. I charge for what I do. So visit TheBigGameHunter.us. There's a lot there that can help you as well in the blog area. So visit the blog, and if it seems like too much, the best of my materials at JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, where I've curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read that'll help you find work more quickly, and I discount my coaching if you become a member of the site. Hope you found this helpful, and have a great day. Take care.